This week on Now Here with Chris and Kell.
I just drank a Mexican energy drink and murdered a booby, so I'm pretty wired right now. Kelly's back there, she's just chillaxing. She hasn't had her Boost energy drink yet, but I had mine.
Hold up, what do you mean you murdered a booby? This week we find ourselves tied up to Marina Chahui in beautiful Huatulco. Welcome back.
We're the height of luxury now, Kelly.
We sure are.
We have an air conditioner we can't use.
Okay, you might be asking yourself, why do we need an air conditioner all of a sudden? We've made it through 2 seasons in the scorching sweatball heat without one. Have we gone soft? Let's back up a bit.
Have you ever heard of Continental Electric? I haven't, but I found a hell of a deal on this. A window air conditioning unit. We're gonna need this while we're on the hard in Chiapas because not only is it hot, it's moist there. And air conditioners will keep the interior at a moderated temperature, but it also dries the air out. So it should pull a bunch of moisture out of the air inside the boat. That way we can kind of seal it up and make it into an air conditioned space. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it doesn't get beat up over time and lasts. And hopefully they have a place for us to plug it in. We'll find out. It's a hell of a deal though, only $221.
This morning we are taking off and it's our last stop, and I'm not sure how this happened, but we both have sore throats. We both refuse to believe we are sick though.
I know how it happened. That last passage kicked our butts.
But
that's
like,
when mine started.
Sleep deprivation? Like vomiting a lot? What would cause a sore throat?
I don't know, I only threw up once on that passage. Yeah, all those things combined to, I don't know, like it's not like we've been exposed to that many people.
Yeah, I don't know. Fatigue?
That's
whatever.
probably what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is the last one, the last hurrah, and it's gonna be great. Since our last passage was so barfy, we took some extra precautions in our planning by having plenty of cool carbonated drinks on hand and simple, easy-to-eat snacks ready to go, in case cooking wasn't an option.
passage snacks, Chris's super delish hummus dish. That all flowed. I didn't even plan that. This is our Mama Lil's peppers hummus. You don't have to use Mama Lil's, but this ends up being an excellent passage snack. So it makes with carrot sticks to go with it.
Chris is a man of health.
Yep, that's me. That's what they say about me. But we are as prepared as we can culinarily. I made some leg of lamb we had kicking around forever. I made that into like a birria. It's in the pressure cooker behind me. Also, we have a couple of burger patties left over. This is a 2-day passage, so we gotta have at least a couple of big meals ready. We're in great shape. We're gonna cross 2 days from here to Chiapas. It's our last voyage of the season.
The last hurrah. We should take a moment to mention that we are crossing the Tehuantepec area of Mexico, an area that if you're not careful can blow you out to sea, never to be seen again. Okay, maybe not that dramatic, but it can be very dangerous. Don't take my word for it.
Tehuantepec winds occur when cold air blows up against the mountains in southern Mexico, and there's a tiny gap in the mountains that allows the winds to blow into the Pacific at a tremendous rate of speed. Big, powerful cold fronts in the fall and winter months can spread cold air all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, and that cold air drains up against the mountains in Mexico, and it can't go up and over because it's too dense, so it finds these little mountain gaps and presses through really fast. We often see winds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour at times, and we've even seen gusts of more than 200 kilometers per hour, which can create 10-meter waves and be very dangerous for any vessels in the region.
You have 2 strategies for crossing this region. 1, ride along the coast to minimize the effects of wind, or do what we're doing and find a super calm window to book it straight across. Our option is not advisable during winter months, but luck is on our side and we're crossing during the summer months, so making a break is a much safer option. That means no sailing for us, but what else is new? Ready.
I thought we might get lucky today.
It was a calm exit leaving the marina. The channel was nice and clear, no traffic to deal with today. We were bound straight for the open ocean once again. Once we got out into the ocean, the water became a little more spirited, but that was totally expected. We felt confident in our weather window, so this time shouldn't feel like the last. So far, we were off to a beautiful start. The sea state was calm and the sun was out. The consistent breeze kept us cool.
And we're off. The last leg of the season. This is exciting. Hope it's not as shitty as last time by a lot.
Me too. We tossed out our hand lines just like we do on every passage. Who knows, maybe we'll actually catch something.
Gonna catch a fish today or tomorrow.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Now with the lines out, all we have to do is wait. Literally, that's it. We just wait and stare at stuff. The surfing bird.
It's a boo-boo. It's a baby.
Hi, Booby.
That looks like a nice piece of wood.
Yeah. It was shocking to see not only one, but two surfing birds in a row. Must be a thing down here. Status update. We are cruising along at about 5 knots. Conditions are absolutely gorgeous, and I am loving this right now. This is good. Pleasant surprise, and way better than last time. So, hopefully we keep this up.
So far so good. It's been quite lovely out here. We've got wind coming from the front, so we don't have the sails up. They would just flog. We're going straight across. Everybody told us we're going to have to motor based on this weather window, and that's ideal because it can get quite hairy in this area. I'll take it. It's pretty great. I can't ask for better. The worst we're getting is just a gentle roll side to side. This is it, Kelly. This is about the best motoring conditions you could have.
Yeah.
We're both back here, we're relaxing. I found myself a little cooler spot. Yeti sitting.
This is Yeti sitting. Its finest. Well, no surprise for us. We still had no bites on our fishing line, but it was turning lunchtime, so what should we do? Poor man's poke bowl. That's a tuna packet, some leftover lettuce from Chris's sandwich, some weird sauce we found in the fridge, and sushi rice. Not a bad view. Not a bad view at all. The smoothness of this sail was epic, and the fact that this would be our last sail before hauling Drifter out for the season was all too bittersweet. Getting ready to make some dinner?
I am.
Nice.
Little birria. I don't know how I've uncomplicated things because I've added about 12 different elements. I pickled some onions. Oh. I'm gonna make a slaw.
Because the sea state was so calm, and Chris gets bored super easy, we now have a much more tasty and complex dinner ahead of us. I leave him in the galley and scout from the bow. In all of our cruising days, never have I ever seen water this blue. It was the craziest feeling to be gliding along over this clarity. With no land in sight, we were miles offshore, and the feelings of independence and gratification for having accomplished what we set out to do were so strong. When we left Portland 2 years ago and set sail for another country with no sailing experience, most of our friends and family thought we were crazy. They were probably right, but look at us now. Status update. The sun is about to set. Conditions are still very nice. Chris is making dinner, and we hope to tuck into a nice, calm evening. I think this right here, this is why we do this. This will be one of our last sunsets.
I hope not.
At sea.
You keep saying things like, you don't even say season. You just keep, you're like, this is gonna be our last sail. This is like Drifter's going to the impound lot after today.
No. It is our last for a while, you have to admit.
Yes.
I
No, I don't give a shit. Like, going on with my life. I'll be back.
Well, there you have it. Some of us are getting a little more sentimental than others. Regardless, it's been a glorious passage, and now it's dinner time. Tonight, we'll be having birria tacos with a fresh cabbage slaw and pickled onions. And dinner is always served better with a view, so let's be sure to take full advantage of that. As the sun sank into the horizon, we got some spectacular colors. No better ending to our first night on passage. Darkness crept in and we set into our watches. I really appreciate these calm and quiet overnights, with nothing to report when it's your turn for some shut-eye. The next morning, Chris was on watch, hopeful and eager to catch a fish.
Time to get the hand lines out.
This is the part where Chris talks about his new rig and how awesome it is, but the audio is total garbage, so I'll improvise. Okay, so this is the brightest lure I could find, and it also does this skippy thing on the water. I bought a bunch of them because one didn't feel like enough. It's a more the merrier strategy. See here? Most important rule of fishing this way is to make sure your rig is secure, because this shit is expensive. And we never seem to have enough of it. Here goes nothing. Okay, I lied. The most important rule of fishing this way is to remain patient, and this is something Chris struggles with, and it's gotten worse as we fail to catch anything delicious.
Just before 6 a.m., the hand lines are out. We're chilling in the best spot on the boat right now. You get a nice breeze, you don't get any exhaust fumes, and the view is pretty great too. At present, we're getting about 3 knots of wind blowing from behind us, and it's swirling over about 60 degrees. Not much excitement there, but hopefully we should be able to get some wind in the middle of the day. We've been cruising, man. At this rate, we'll get there at like midnight tonight. But we're about to pass through an area where we're getting a little help from the current. It's kind of going at a 45-degree angle with us. And that goes exactly against us today, where it's going to be going at about a 45 angle against us. So I anticipate losing at least a whole knot of speed because it's a pretty strong one. And if that's the case, then I'm still going to guess we're going to get here about first light tomorrow.
Let's hope for the latter. I really don't want to end up arriving someplace new in the middle of the night. Anyway, look, dolphins. Now that Chris's watch is over, it's my turn. But guess who's not ready for bed?
It's more than halfway through day 2. I just drank a Mexican energy drink and murdered a booby, so I'm pretty wired right now. Kelly's back there, she's just chillaxing. She hasn't had her Boost energy drink yet, but I had mine.
Hold up, what do you mean you murdered a booby? Oh god.
Bird.
You caught a bird? Yep, we finally caught something. A freaking bird. Unfortunately, by the time we got him back on deck, or even likely before that, he was a goner. We let him hang out for a while in hopes he would resuscitate, but the odds were not in his favor.
Live. That sucks. Yeah, that doesn't seem like something that's alive.
After a rather barbaric attempt at CPR, we decided to call it and return this poor booby back to the sea. Well, now, so you put it back out?
Of course.
So what if it happens again? Are we done?
Let's plan for that. We should probably have a big discussion on what we'll do if we catch another bird.
No, it could be just a little discussion, but like this.
How do we catch fish?
I don't want to do that again.
You didn't do anything.
Sort of.
I think if we catch another one, we're obligated to eat it. Google if you can cook a booby and if an orange sauce is delicious glaze.
I don't think that's a good idea. And speaking of bad ideas...
And boy, is it tasty. I didn't think like it gave me any extra energy though. It didn't seem like it was doing anything to me. I just kind of feel like I drank it and that was like drinking a pop. It really wasn't like a big deal. I don't feel like there's really anything in it.
Are you on crack?
What?
Are you on crack?
I am not on crack. Do you have any crack? Because if we go down here, there's going to be an inspection when we get to the actual marina. They're going to inspect the boat, so we got to make sure that we don't have any drugs of any kind on the boat. Because there'll be dogs and things like that. They'll be searching and looking everywhere. They'll probably look under the boat and above the boat and on the sides of the boat. You can't leave the boat until they inspect the boat.
Mexican energy drinks.
Boo! Those are legal.
Okay, now that Crackhead Chris is in full effect, time for me to hide down below and get some work done.
I thought you were downstairs working.
Guy came up.
Why?
Today is rougher than yesterday.
It is a lot rougher than yesterday. Feeling a little ill, are you?
A little bit. How about you?
Well, I'm fine. But I wasn't staring at a computer screen. We have 36.7 nautical miles to go. Right now, our ETA is 7 hours from now. You know, variable with speed. I don't really see the effects of this current we're supposed to hit. I think that should be upon us soon, and I think that'll slow us down. I'm guessing we're looking at more like 10 hours. It is 5:30 now. 10 hours from now puts us at 3:30 in the morning. Like a Garth Brooks song about thunder, which might be appropriate. Anyway, I think I'm gonna start working on a little din, figure out what we're gonna have.
And as the sun went down, Chris turned up his galley game and made us some delicious burgers, along with hash browns, which are the next best thing to French fries. We both enjoyed the hell out of our burgers. This passage was so much better than the last, clearly in more ways than one. I don't know if I mentioned this, but on our last passage, it was so miserable we lost a collective 10 pounds between the two of us. On this one, I'm sure we'd be gaining, and I'm okay with that. Okay, night was falling and we were approaching Chiapas a lot quicker than we had planned. I was starting to get pretty nervous because not only would we be entering in a new place at night, but we had no idea if we would have help docking once we arrived. Also, Chiapas has quite a channel to get into the marina. Would it be well lit? Is it well marked? Who knows? I was trying to remain calm because this situation was now beyond my control. We were at the mercy of the ocean and how fast it had taken us to Chiapas. All we can do now is adapt. Railing it in.
At this point, it would take a miracle.
It was very disappointing for sure, but unfortunately, we spent our last sailing in Mexico never catching a fish. At this point, we are now officially entering the bay, just before the channel to the marina.
Okay, we better give the port captain a call, because about 1,000 people have told us it's very important at this port.
Yep. Chris hails the port captain, but given the insane hour of our arrival, we are not at all surprised by the lack of response.
We're about half hour away from the marina, and about 3 minutes away from making our turn towards the port.
Got my headlamp on, I'm ready to go, get the biddies out, moving the fenders and the lines. Not quite sure where we'll be tying up this evening, so we gotta be prepared on both sides.
I can see red markers, which will be obviously on the starboard side. And if you look over here, you'll start to see the green ones. We just got to get past the jetty.
Oh, I see one.
So I've got the autopilot all set to take us all the way in. I'm just going to kind of hang out by the door and take over if I need to.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool beans. Flashes.
Want me to knock on
I'm a little on the right side than I want to be. I'm going to go check on things.
Okay.
Right? I don't see the next red marker. It's way over there. Yeah. All right. I'll be back.
Oh, yes.
All right. Yeah, we're looking good.
So we were looking okay, but I wouldn't say good. We still had a dark, narrow channel to get through, and we weren't too keen on relying solely on our autopilot. Some good news did come through, though. We finally heard back from the marina regarding our slip assignment. Everything was well lit and going great until we made our last turn into the channel that fingered off into the marina. There was zero light, like black. Chris was at the helm. He started off confident. We knew the channel was narrow, but I couldn't see the bangs from the deck, so obviously he couldn't see them either from the pilot house. And we both started to panic. No flashlight was helping, but every once in a while I caught a vague glimpse of the shore and it was close on both sides. I really could only see the shore when we were heading way too close to it, so it quickly turned into a screaming match of turn, turn, turn! Which way? Left! Left! You mean port? Now is not the time, Chris! We pinballed our way along the last leg and finally saw the blessed lights of the marina docks. That was way too hairy. And despite this ungodly hour, Ronnie and Ralph were here at the dock waiting for us, with big smiles and no judgment. We were overboard with relief to finally be here.
Looks like we made it. Cheers to the last passage of the season.
That was an exciting one to end on.
Yeah, we didn't really get to show it because shit hit the fan. As soon as we turned this corner, it went from well marked and well lit to black, narrow, no markers.
None.
Well, there were markers, were they? You saw buoys?
There were no markers. There was two banks that were pretty impressive going through.
The pilot house has a lot going for it and some things that don't do so well. And one of them is seeing through this windshield at night with no light.
That's difficult.
Kelly was over here on the deck saying things like, I don't know what to say. And I'm popping out over here trying to see things and freaking out and almost hitting banks and then almost hitting catamarans. Not really though. Once we finally got into here, it was okay. But even this marina was not very well lit.
Yeah.
It's that dim ambiance light, so.
Yeah, it was kind of like all my worst fears hitting at once.
And we came through it at A-okay.
Yeah, well fortunately we had people on the dock and we didn't have to like guess at where to park. So that was a big relief to know ahead of time.
Yep.
Yeah, Ronnie was great.
Yep, Ronnie's a good man. Come on down to Chiapas and say hey.
That's it for this week. Tune in next time as we get boarded by the Mexican Navy and try to get through customs. And if you like what you see and you want to keep following along, become a subscriber. Just hit that button below. And keep watching for this week's blooper reel, sponsored by our patrons.
Just give me a little tweak in the nipple. Hey there, hey Jen, you crazy dog, you. Kelly's doing boat stuff.
I'm doing boat stuff today. Just today.
Solo oi.
Okay.
This is the time to be downloading all the movies you want to watch.
It's almost like we're coming in raising the white flag, like we gave up.
Why would you even say that? Sometimes, to avoid going to the beauty parlor, I just sit with my buck cheek spread aimed at the sun. So I don't have to pay for that expensive treatment. Having my asshole bleached.
And we're done.
This is my delighted face while I watch dolphins. They're so cute.
Mexican energy drink.
Boo! Those are legal.
No.
Sorry.
I don't know, like your accent is... Sorry, good stuff.
Maybe not that bad. Because I only slept like 2 hours last night. But that's all I need, because I have Mexican energy drinks. It's basically amphetamine